What's up, my comic comrades? Today we continue our coverage on Marvel's Dark Ages miniseries with issue 2. But before we get into it, we do have something to clarify. When we covered issue 1 of this series, I said that the story took place in the main 616 universe and was more of a possible future story, which I thought could be true and why Spider-Man has a daughter, along with a few other changes that don't match up with the current Marvel continuity. But after shooting the episode, some of you made us aware that Tom Taylor, the writer of the series, had previously tweeted that this is indeed an alternate universe, much like what he did with Deceased for DC Comics. Something we were completely unaware he said. So that's our bad, and good on you guys in the Variant Nation for bringing it to our attention. Overall, that information and the fact that this is an alternate reality where Taylor can write a story where no one is safe actually makes it way more exciting and fun to see where it goes, in our opinion. But before we dive in, we want to thank our good friends at Displate for sponsoring today's episode. Displate continues to be our go-to company for amazing wall art, and that's because they work with incredibly talented artists from around the world to create high-quality metal posters from DC, Marvel, Star Wars, anime, gaming, and much, much more. Displate's catalog of posters is so deep that it allows you to customize and arrange your collections pretty much any way you want. Not to mention, you could hang and rearrange your posters in seconds thanks to their easy install magnetic wall mount system. In short, every Displate metal poster comes with a mounting guide, stickers, and magnets. So you just line your displays up where you want to hang them, apply the magnets to the wall where instructed on the guide sticker, and mount your poster. Just to give you an example, these are just a few of the awesome displays Variant has in its collection here at the studio. And it literally takes about 60 seconds to swap them in and out how we want them on set to go with what topics we're covering. It's freaking glorious. You also have the ability to choose from 3 different sizes: medium, large, or extra large. Select a matte or gloss finish, and even pick from multiple frame options. And when you use our link in the description to start assembling your collection, as a member of the Variant Nation, you'll get 27% off your order of 1 to 2 displays and 37% off 3 or more displays. But you want to take advantage of that now because our discount is only available for a limited time. Again, just click our link in the description below to scroll through some of our favorite collections and then start building your collection with a deep discount. Just as a heads up, when you use our link, you'll see that the discount is applied once you add your selections to the cart. Also, make sure to let us know which designs are your favorite in the comment section as well. And now let's crack open Dark Ages issue 2 to see where it takes us. The issue starts off with a scene of characters like Taskmaster, Black Widow, and Hawkeye on opposing sides charging one another, with captions from Spider-Man saying, "After our world went dark, people were scared and grieving, and their fear and hurt turned into anger. They were wars fought over borders, resources, ideologies. It was chaos. Between the initial earthquakes, the loss of power, and the wars, billions of lives were lost," as we see Hawkeye and Taskmaster lying on the floor dead after killing each other. Spider-Man goes on to say, "Cutting through all that fear, rage, and chaos came voices of calm, and the message started to spread." As we see characters like Jean Grey, Wolverine, Black Panther, Shang-Chi, and Deadpool tell people it doesn't have to be like this. We then get a panel of Captain America holding a crying man saying, "It's all right, there's a better way, my son." We also see Professor X telepathically tell people like Ghost Spider, Shocker, and Storm we could find it together. We then get more narration from Spider-Man saying, "Who says a post-apocalyptic world has to be a bad place? Forget your barren wasteland, your fashion dominated by leather and skulls, and the all too common problem of roving cannibals." And after the fall of our civilization came something better. We then see Peter's daughter, May, web swinging through the forest, with Peter saying, "I gotcha." She then tells him, "That wasn't fair, Dad." He responds, "You were yelling woo, May. That makes you a lot easier to locate. It's like a loud hole in your stealthy plans." At this point, MJ says, "Time to head home, you two." Peter says, "Sure thing, MJ. I just have to spin some webs first." Peter's narration continues with him saying, "Honestly, it became a decent place to raise a family. With a smaller population without electricity, industrialization, and mass production, the world started coming back from the brink of climate destruction. People fled the most inhospitable places and came to thriving centers. What was left of humanity sheltered from the darkness together. These super cities were each linked by a powerful telepath, as we see Professor X in Brazil checking in with a telepath in Australia and a telepath in Nepal." Peter continues to tell us all the world was divided by distance. It was also connected by people who opened their minds and hid nothing from each other, all with the common goal. The center of our new world, Earth's capital, was Wakanda. We then learned that the Council of Great Theorists innovated every day in the city, some of the best minds linked together by Jean Grey. Lunella Lafayette, Shiri, Tony Stark, Valerie Richards, T'Challa, Nadia Van Dyne, Amadeus Cho, and Victor Von Doom, who also joined the greatest non-powered thinkers. Peter tells us they reimagined what the world could be. They dreamed up lighting and refrigeration, whole new systems of food production and preservation, shelter and governance. Together, they created a post-apocalyptic utopia. And how did they protect this utopia, you ask? Well, they built webs. Essentially, the webs pick up vibration, letting Spider-Man and fellow heroes know of incoming threats. Anyway, as we get a look at the webs Spider-Man has spun around the city, they pick up vibrations, at which point Daredevil says, They're heading for the southwest corner of the city. Considering who we have there, that's the worst place to be a bloodthirsty creature of the night. Foggy then asks, should I send up a flare? Daredevil tells him, no need. Wolverine will know by now. Then on the next page, we see Blade ask Wolverine, what is it? She replies, werewolves, with Gabby saying, with a delicate but fragrant undertone, a vampire. After they coat their weapons and claws with silver and pick up stakes, Blade says, let's hunt. We then get more narration from Peter saying, of course with the lights going out across the world, darkness thrived. The Night Horde raids were frequent, but we had protectors who are far more fearsome than any monsters. As we see Blade, Wolverine and gang hack the Night Hordes apart. We are then taken into a cave where we see Tony Stark working on something with Pepper telling him, the serene sound of the forest at night. Tony then responds saying, sounds like a Night Horde making a very bad mistake, Pepper. They then hear a hiss and look over only to see a vampire walking towards them saying Stark. But on the next page, we see Captain America decapitate the vampire with his shield, saying you think a brilliant inventor would invent a door. Cap and Tony then shake hands with Cap saying, sorry about the vampire bits. Tony replies, hey, it happens. Pepper then gives Steve a hug saying, it's been far too long. We were getting worried about you. Steve replies, it's good to see you too, Pepper. And then asks Tony, how goes alchemy? Tony replies, turn some lead into gold. Do you want some? Steve asks, for what? And then Tony tells him, I don't really know. This would have been worth a lot of money back when money was a thing. Steve then tells Tony, I didn't expect to see you so content. Pepper says a less exciting life suits us both. Captain says, we're standing in dead vampire. Pepper replies, I said less exciting, not dull. Captain tells them, I've been in Europe. Tony asks, how is it? Steve replies, still ruled by an iron fist. They need help, Tony. Can we take a walk? As they take a walk, we see that Tony has lost his left leg from the knee down. But as they're walking, Steve tells Tony, I thought you'd miss electricity more. I thought you'd feel held back. Tony replies, honestly, I do. I lie awake at night creating things in my mind, machines that would transform the world that will never be switched on. As they're walking through the woods, Tony says, watch out for webs. Are you here to ask me to go to war with you? Steve looks at him saying, no, I think there's another solution. What if I told you there might be a way to switch on all the machines running in your mind? Tony asks, what are you talking about? Where are we going? Steve says, there's something I need to show you. Only to reveal that he led Tony to Apocalypse and Dracula who are waiting for him in the woods. Tony then freaks out saying, Apocalypse, and throws a flash grenade in the air. But Dracula was too quick, moving behind him in the blink of an eye, lifting him up by the back of the neck, saying, you've always been too good at killing, Stark. Some of the vampires you just incinerated have been in my service for centuries. Tony then says, Cap, get Dracula off me, but Steve says, no, and whacks Tony across the face with his shield. And then on the next page, we see it's not Captain America at all, but rather Mystique disguised as Captain America, saying, extraction accomplished. Apocalypse then says, well done, Mystique, as they teleport him to Europe. We then get more captions of Spider-Man saying, we were so resilient. We had survived so well. We couldn't see the danger growing in Europe. Then back in Europe, Apocalypse tells Tony, your mind is beyond human, Stark. I thought mutants were the only species worth preserving. But I see now I thought too narrowly. Tony replies, good for you. It's nice that a genocidal maniac can grow. Apocalypse then tells him, you shall work for me. Tony replies, I've always had a firm rule about not working for people who have slaves build them statues. As Apocalypse leads Tony somewhere, he tells him, and were your Iron Man suits not partly shining tributes to yourself? Where the metal's not mined by slaves in other lands? You understand as I do, Stark, evolution uses and kills the inferior and undeserving. There could be no progress with our world rendered stagnant. It's time to evolve again as he takes them inside to a lab where there's electricity. Tony then spots Riri and Reed and tells them, we thought you were dead. We gave up searching. What are you doing? Reed answers saying, everything I can to help end Sabanor. Tony asks, are you being threatened? Reed tells him, no, we are being given a chance. Tony then asks Apocalypse, the power running in here, how have you done this? Apocalypse asks him, how would you do it? Tony says, it's a Faraday cage, immune to the constant EMP, but every cage I tried to build has failed. I've used adamantium and vibranium. The electromagnetic pulse in the earth is still too strong. You need a magnet, something equally as strong, to repel it in here. Apocalypse asks, something? As Tony looks up saying, no, someone, as he sees Apocalypse is using Magneto to repel the EMP from the Earth's core. Apocalypse then tells him, well done, Killgrave. Tony asks, Killgrave? As he sees the Purple Man walk out. If you didn't know, the Purple Man can control people. Apocalypse then tells Purple Man, take his mind. At which point he takes Tony's mind. And as this is happening, we get captions of Peter saying, we knew Apocalypse was dangerous. The dictator controlled what was left of a continent. But we had no idea the extent of the threat he posed. We didn't know he'd sacrifice the world. As Apocalypse says, I touched the mind of a being more powerful than a god. Then the earth stopped and the being slept. I want that power. You're going to help me wake the Unmaker, Tony Stark. And with that, the comic ends. But there you have it, guys. Dark Ages issue 2. What can I say? This series has been great, which is not shocking because Tom Taylor is one of the best comic writers out right now. And I like that it's turning into an apocalypse story. You get it? Because like the main villain is Apocalypse, but it's also a post-apocalyptic story. Yeah. Anyway, they're clearly setting Apocalypse up to be the main villain of the storyline as he's trying to take over the Marvel Universe, or at least the Earth. And you can bet when the next issue drops, we'll be right back here breaking it down for you. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. First up for the week of October 20th, we have Fantastic Four issue 37. The fallout from Fantastic Four's 60th anniversary stories continues. Maybe a visit from a certain friendly neighborhood Spider-Man might help with that. Meanwhile, it's time for Ben and Alicia to take their kids trick-or-treating for the very first time, which might not be such a good idea. Now we have Batman Catwoman issue 8, pulled apart and torn together. Setting new boundaries in their relationship leads to conflict at home and on the mean streets of Gotham for Batman and Catwoman. With opportunists like the Penguin waiting in the wings to strike, our hero becomes more vulnerable than ever. Meanwhile, Phantasm locates her target, the Joker. And finally, we have Batman issue 115. Batman and Miracle Molly are all that stands between Gotham and absolute insanity. But an unhinged Simon Saint brings all the resources of the Magistrate to bear on the Dark Knight. Is victory at hand for the Scarecrow? And that's going to bring today's episode of Variant to a close. But if you like today's video, be sure to check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. It always helps the channel out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.